Loans are financial infrastructure and privacy is security perimeter. And when you put those together, things get serious. So today we're going to be talking about Liquidium, and then we're going to get into the privacy subnet. So first things first, Liquidium is their site's launching in 7 days, and they are allowing you to use cross-chain loans. Liquidium is the biggest loan provider for Bitcoin. So this is massive that they're working with Internet Computer. We got to sit down with Robin and in Las Vegas and talk with him during the Bitcoin conference. And they're already doing over $500 million in loans. So this is very serious that we're now getting cross-chain lending, and he's going to talk about that, and then we're going to break it down a little bit too.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. So Solana will be the third chain that we're adding. And basically the entire idea is that you can use your native Bitcoin that you can supply, you can earn interest on your Bitcoin, and then also at the same time use that supplied Bitcoin as collateral to borrow stable coins or other assets on Ethereum against that. So for example, if you have some Bitcoin and you don't want to sell it, you can just supply it on Liquidium, borrow USDT or USDC against it, and then kind of spend that and repay that loan whenever you want to.
The whales on Bitcoin or Ethereum or even Solana are going to be able to borrow or even lend their assets out and make yield and stuff in the process. So this is really, really cool that they are launching this, and it starts next week. So this is exciting times. It's going to help out the market for sure. To those that are interested in either providing or borrowing. So next he's going to talk about why they had some friction early on and what helped them solve this. So
yeah, that's going to be, that's fantastic.
We had one constraint in that peer-to-peer lending product where the lender creates a loan offer, the borrower accepts that offer, and then the lender has to come back to the platform and countersign it. So that's basically where we try to find a solution for the longest time, because our philosophy is kind of like, how can we create the best user experience? And we didn't want that friction point. So that's how we discovered ICP, specifically the chain fusion part of ICP, which kind of allows us to build a smart contract on ICP, but still letting the user only interact with native Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So building like a native Bitcoin canister on ICP, and then letting the users deal with Bitcoin.
Yeah, so real quick too, during that, we were also, that's on ICP United, so if you go to our playlist, ICP United, you'll see that, and it's in episode 9, where we are building on Bitcoin in Vegas. And so we're around Vegas, we were at the main conference, but then we were at side conferences, and Internet Computer is being talked a lot about on stage with Odin, Omnity, and other builders in the space. So really cool episode, definitely check that out. And while we're on borrowing and lending, Plug Wallet just announced that they have native Bitcoin and ICP directly from your non-custodial DeFi wallet as well. And if you're not familiar with Plug Wallet, this is the biggest wallet in the ecosystem. And so this is really cool to see that they're adding this in. They've been doing a lot of multi-chain stuff lately. Quick clip from Poked Bots here. This is Ed, and I voiced Ed in the short film Poked Bots Delta City, which John here from Poked Studios announced that there's going to be something coming from Poked Bots Delta City in the next 2 weeks or so. So this is why we're showing the clip, and he's showing off the characters, and they look fantastic. So check out the detail on this. I like the colors and stuff that they're using. Really, really, really good job. And so, be on the lookout for Poked Bots Delta City. I'll share it when it is out, and we'll probably have it up on the next Swap News. Now back to what we are going to be talking about for the rest of this episode. So the privacy subnet just passed on internet computers. So if you're not familiar, real quick, I'll pause this video. If you're not familiar with the NNS, the network nervous system, if it's your first time to internet computer, it's on-chain governance. So people put in the code and all that, and it gets reviewed by everyone on the network, and they will either vote to adopt it or say no. So yes or no, right? And so once this is executed, once it passes over the threshold, then it will fire on chain. So there's no waiting around for people to do the work. It can be provided in ahead of time and then paid immediately once it's executed. So this is really, really cool tech, and this is why the internet computer is the largest DAO. It's just really incredible stuff. So now onto the privacy subnet, because this is what this unlocks. With this is now open for testing for developers and stuff. So now institutions and enterprise and all that are going to be looking a little bit closer at this. And so this allows for privacy apps, and it also allows for other things for confidential computing on their own private networks. So one of the things that Dominic Williams has been pushing is UTOPIA, and he announced this in 2024. And we haven't heard a lot about UTOPIA recently, but it's all tying into what he's talking about. So, and basically he's been talking about cloud engines, which is in this video on the Dfinity Foundation YouTube channel, or X, you can find it there as well, but YouTube is definitely the easiest one. And so he's been talking about these privacy networks and subnets, and Pakistan just did a subnet, and the Swiss subnet just launched as well. So we're starting to see more enterprise and institutions and governments and stuff, looking to use the technology here. So this is where we're at right now. Is we just got the privacy subnet. UTOPIA is in play here, but it's still unclear how it all ties into internet computer, if they're on their own networks or not. So this is what's going to get us to a future, especially what's interesting too with Liquidium and stuff. The big institutions, like the big traditional finance, and I'll pause this quick. The big traditional finance, they don't want to just be on a public ledger. They need to have their networks where it's private, and they can, if it needs to be audited and stuff, give it to whoever needs it. They have a lot more confidential information, and it's just kind of like a really delicate thing to just make them go onto a network where everyone's doxxed, and people could basically front run every transaction if they start following all these wallets. So it gets really nasty that way, especially with agents and how they could be trading. It could get very manipulative. So this stuff that we're watching to see the future rollout for that. So we'll have more stuff with UTOPIA and like the privacy networks and stuff. So if you want more content about that soon, just comment below. I appreciate that. And also for the swap in general, we do have our Discord and open chat. I'm going to put those in the description below. And check us out on Substack, and appreciate you guys all watching this. Please remember to like and subscribe. It helps for spreading this out even faster. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in, and we'll be back with another episode here shortly. So take care.